Welcome back to Houston Life. As 2022 comes to an end, one Houstonian in particular is reflecting on a spectacular year. His critically acclaimed album, Black Radio 3, was just nominated for 2 Grammy Awards, including Best R&B Album.
Pianist and composer Robert Glasper is known to many as the face of jazz, and today we're honored to have him here with us. Robert, it is so great to see you.
Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
Man,
I'm from Houston.
Yes, Mo City. Elkins,
Absolutely.
You went to HSPVA. When
Yes.
did you find your place? I mean, it must have been before HSPVA,
It was before
right?
HSPVA. First of all, just it's surreal to be here. I grew up with Channel 2. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
that's
this
awesome.
is like literally. But yeah, once I went to Elkins, I was on the B team for the basketball, B team, and I sat at the bench the whole year. So that's when I realized, you know what? Basketball's not gonna be my thing.
Gonna find something
I'm gonna
else.
find something else, and I always could play the piano. So I was like, let me just go ahead and go to HSPVA and do the piano thing. So.
What an incredible experience. The
Yeah.
amount of people we've had and we've met on this show who've sat in that seat that have gone to HSPVA
Absolutely.
in the different categories.
Absolutely.
Would you say that shaped your musical career?
Oh, for sure. Because, you know, being around other kids your age that have a passion, because it's very rare to have a passion when you're 14.
Right.
You know what I mean? You don't know what it is or a gift at that point. You're still trying to figure it out, you know, most of the time. So when you have other kids your age that have the same passion, then you have friendly competition. And sometimes not so friendly competition, but it ends up sharpening you know what I mean? So it was great.
It helps push you along. Well, speaking of shaping your life, we got to talk about your mom, your late mother, who was a jazz singer.
Absolutely.
Talk about her influence on your love of music.
Yeah, my mom, you know, she was a Houston legend, Kim Yvette. And yeah, she sang all around town. And I used to, when I started driving, I used to pick her up from her jobs. But before I would get her, she would make me sit down and play a song with her. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? I grew up with music in the house, and her and my dad both play a lot of different styles of music in the house. So that kind of shaped my whole thing, you know.
It is what an incredible memory that is for you. And when you talk about the different types of music and what you have listened to, I mean, talk about the artists that you've worked with. I mean, we have Jennifer Hudson, Common, Kendrick Lamar, Mac Miller. I mean, you have an array of people.
Yeah.
What do you I mean, you must love all music.
I do. It was because of the house. When I walk in, my mom would be playing like Ella Fitzgerald or Mahalia Jackson or Aretha Franklin. My dad's playing the Isley Brothers and Luther Vandross. And you know what I mean? So it was everywhere. The music was everywhere. So, you know, walking into the house is like walking into the coolest radio station ever. You know what I mean? So.
Robert, we've been chatting a lot about jazz, but your versatility as a composer, as an artist. We mentioned the R&B album nomination at the Grammys, which is such a huge deal. Can you tell us about how your style evolved? Because I feel like that versatility is rare. You have a lot of musicians who do one thing very well, but you do a lot of different genres as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's just, I think it's just how I grew up. I love so many genres of music, and I've played in so many different bands of those genres. I think that's the main thing too. You know, when I moved to New York, I was basically playing with the Roots all the time, you know, and playing with Q-Tip and Common and all these hip hop guys. And then I went on tour with, you know, Maxwell for years and Bilal, and you know, I played with Aretha Franklin. I played with Joni. I played with, you know, Carly Simon. It's everywhere. My whole thing is everywhere. So I'm like a musical mutt. You know what I mean? So it's hard to keep me in a box. So and I feel like to keep jazz alive, you have to pull from your influences that are around you, because that's what our ancestors did in the music. You know, they pulled from what was around them. So now we have so much around us. You have to pull from those things to keep it modern and keep it current.
What I think is so great about that is when you start listening to music, or maybe what our kids are listening to, the samples within their current music is the stuff that you're talking about.
It's great. A lot of people, like when people get sampled, a lot of people may not like that.
Right.
You know, older people tend to be like, no, don't use that. But all it does is keep the circle going and reminds people like, hey, this comes from something else, and you pay homage to the history. You don't get held back by the history.
Right.
But you pay homage to the history and you learn from the history, you know.
There's a new project on Peacock. It's called The Best Man, The Final Chapters.
Yes.
You did the score. This program premieres next week on December 22nd.
Absolutely.
Can you talk about this process when you're creating a score for a series or for a film? Is it the cart before the horse? Are you composing before you see the final product?
It's kind of both. Shout out to Derek Hodge too. He co-composed it with me, the music. But it's kind of both. A lot of times they have scenes already shot. You know what I mean? And you watch the scene, and the director kind of tells you what they're trying to relay, what kind of emotion they're trying to relay to them for the scene. So you have to try to make music for that. And sometimes it could be, you can do 100 takes for something that's 10 seconds. But because that emotion is so important, you have to keep doing it. Your job is to relay the emotion that the director wants to relay to the audience, and you have to do that through them. You know what I mean? But most of the time, the scenes are shot, and you have to come after it and make the scene, give it that little lift with the music.
That's incredible.
It's amazing. I realize how important music is because I get to see shows without music first before the world gets to see it. I see it without music, and that made me realize how much music is important.
The emotional impact.
For sure.
Impact. Yeah, exactly. Because I did also The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, the reboot on Peacock. I did that. I also did The Winning Time about the LA Lakers on HBO.
Yeah.
So I've been doing a lot of these things. So now I'm realizing, like, music is important.
It makes the story flow, right?
Even in the movies, it makes the story flow. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Robert Glasper, it is an honor to have you here on the couch. We love seeing you.
Thank you so much.
Next time you got to play for us, though.
Absolutely.
Whenever you're in town again.
And dance. I'm an amazing dancer.
Oh, let's do it.
Incredible dancer.
Okay, we have some eggnog for you, too. Some mayo nog.
Shout out to your dad, too.
My dad's in the building.
In studio.
What's up, Pops?
We love having parents in the house. Hey, by the way, the Grammys are Sunday, February 5th.
Yes.
If you would like to follow along, first of all, keep an eye out for Robert.
Absolutely.
Vote for me.
Whoop, whoop.
And if you would like to follow Robert's music, you can visit our website, look for that scene on Houston Life section of HoustonLife.tv.
All right, still